don't ever think about you with them. And girl, tonight I won't call again and again. Ain't nothing but lies, lies, lies. Look into my eyes, eyes, eyes. I'm still a fool for you. Nothing I wouldn't do for you. Lies, lies, lies. Girl, I'm on a downhill dive. Habits and heartbreaks and hard to break. So I just tell the same old lies, lies, lies. Yeah, baby, I can try.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So look, we got the dart pulled in. It's been sitting on the hillside for about 3 weeks now with no transmission in it because I've been gathering parts. And I've got some parts. I don't have all of them, but I do have some parts, and I do plan to make some progress today. So here we have our T56. It's an LT1 T56 out of a 97 Firebird, 88,000 mile unit, real clean looking, good shape and whatnot. Well, in order for me to convert this LT1 T56 and put it into the dart, I got to have an LS style front plate. That way this will bolt to it. I have to use an internal slave cylinder, you know, all kind of boring stuff. But either way, this LT input shaft has to be changed over to this LS style input shaft. I'm going to do a more in-depth like how-to video on that whenever I get my front plate. I sent my LT front plate off to get machined. It's in the mail somewhere. I really think it's lost. I don't know. But hopefully they find it. They get it to the guy. There's a guy on eBay. He machines them for like $100. I've been talking to him for about 2 weeks. Seems like a nice guy. But we've got that coming. Once I get that in, I can start swapping the input shaft over. This is a LS1 input shaft from Anaheim Gear out in California. It is cryo treated. Talk to them, super nice guys. They got me my input shaft bearing, this little race here that goes in the end of it, and my seal. Super good guys, love working with them. And then my boys, American Powertrain. So look, I called up American Powertrain. I said, look, I got a 68 dart. I'm putting a T56 in it. I need some help. I need some parts. They said, we got you, right? Like 2 days later, it was in the mail. It was coming. We have got a Malwood USA underdash clutch pedal. It's super, super easy installation into these cars. This is an automatic car, obviously. All the other options were like find 4-speed pedals or make a universal pedal and make it work. This is literally 2 bolts, 2-bolt install, bolted onto the factory automatic pedal assembly. I'll show you guys that whenever I get around to it. Underdash master cylinder. You're not cluttering up your engine bay. Only thing out there is this beautiful billet reservoir. The kit, super simple. It looks really good. All you have to do is cut your automatic brake pedal. Like I said, we'll get to that when the time comes. Another thing they sent me is a T56 to A-body cross member. This really, really, really speeds things up because I was going to fabricate one, but then they had this, and it's, you know, you ain't got to worry about your driveline angle and everything. It's just, you make it work with this. So here's the part number for that. XMCH-11004, A-body T56 cross member. It come with a Energy Suspensions polyurethane mount, all required hardware, really good stuff. Then if anybody is curious to put a T56, at least an LS style T56 into or behind a small block Mopar, you've got to have this special little pilot bushing. It fits into the rear crankshaft on that Magnum, goes right over our input shaft. And it's a special made piece that American Powertrain offers. There's the part number there. They also carry the bell housing you need. So look, I'm not making 1,000 horsepower. I'm not spending 8,000 RPM. I don't need a blow-proof bell housing, much less do I want to spend $1,000 on a blow-proof bell housing. So I opted for the aluminum bell housing. This is the, if you can see it, it's called Quick Draw. Quick Draw brand aluminum bell housing. Bolts right up to the LS style front plate. Then it's Gen 3 Hemi / small block Mopar because they're the same pattern. This kit here come with every bit of the hardware you would ever need for it. So it's the budget route, you could say. But I gotta give a huge shout out to American Powertrain for helping me get these parts here. Really good guys over there. If you're doing any sort of manual swap, you gotta hit them up. American Powertrain, save the stick. So anyway, what we're gonna do today, if I don't fall, is I can't put the transmission in the car yet. Obviously, I don't have the front plate, so I can't bolt the belt housing to it and mock it up in the car. So while I'm waiting on the front plate, there are some things I need to do over here in the engine bay. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, buddy.
So the 360 here, it runs fine. There's nothing wrong with it running wise, but she's getting a little ugly, a little dated. And I've been having a lot of belt issues. So some of you may notice I have a GM alternator on here. I don't like it. Listen, I don't like it as much as you don't like it. But I used to have a PowerMaster one wire. It went out, and I decided whenever that went out that I'm going to swap the whole front accessory drive to Magnum serpentine, just like I did on the Valiant. I'll have like a somewhere over here. I'll put a picture. But it's, I mean, super easy serpentine setup swap for these. It's already a Magnum engine, so I just got to swap out the front timing cover to the Magnum timing cover, and then all the brackets and whatnot. It's super simple. So what I'm going to do is pull the engine out, since there's no transmission behind it. It's just a matter of motor mounts and headers and a few wires here and there. We're going to get the engine out. That way I can swap the front cover and get the engine cleaned back up and looking really fresh for Power Tour, hopefully. And so
It's got to go on Power Tour.
Oh, I mean, we have to go on Power Tour now.
Have to go on Power Tour.
You know,
have to.
So at first we were joking about this. We're like, oh, we'll take this on Power Tour. But then we're like, well, it's not really a hot rod.
It's not a hot rod. Granted, it would be fun, but
It would be fun, but it wouldn't be fun, you know.
Getting made fun of all week.
Yeah,
it would have get old quick.
I feel like we would definitely get roasted. But I mean, that's the point. It's like a make fun of me car, you know. It's not super serious. You don't go on Power Tour in a Festiva and not expect to get made fun of. So that, I mean, it would have been fine. It'd be fun in its own way, but really we need to take a hot rod. And yeah, granted, the Valiant is kind of built specifically for the trip with the air conditioning, the fuel injection, and all that. But last year I took it. It was too easy. The air conditioner made it too easy. I almost fell asleep driving because it was so cold. Jerry,
spoiled. He was spoiled the entire way. But his car was the only one that went down the entire way.
Shut up, Jerry. All right. So we decided 1,000%, so long as I get everything and everything goes smoothly and it's together, we're taking the Dart on Power Tour. And it's going to be 360 Magnum T56 swapped for Power Tour.
It's going to be sick.
It's going to be a good time. So we're going to get this out and maybe document it. I don't know. It's been like a month probably since I've seriously taken a YouTube, filmed anything. So I got to get away from the camera shyness again, I guess. So we're going to work on getting this out. Not a whole lot to it. All the hard stuff like the transmission, like I said, is already out. So just be a couple of wires and we'll get it out, get it on stand, and get a good look at it.
Nothing like to do it but to do it.
All right, game plan here, game plan. I'm gonna drain the coolant and get the necessary like radiator and heater hose and stuff. Jerry's gonna get the headers. So I wanna give anybody a tip that has headers on a small block in an A body, especially these cheap hooker headers like I have. I've got some ARP header bolts, not the ones that come with the kit. Anybody that's got these cheap hooker headers in these cars, the bolts that the headers come with, they're garbage. They're huge, and whenever you go to put them in the corners right here, they're terrible to get to. They won't turn all the way. You have to clearance the headers. Anyway, I got these ARP. They are 3/8. I had to look again. ARP 3/8 header bolts. They make everything a lot easier. Now, granted, it's still difficult to get the headers off, especially the bolts in the corners here, but it does make things a lot easier for getting them on and off.
But it's always me getting the bullshit off.
So, Jerry got a header off in the time that I got the alternator, the water pump, pulley, the power steering pump, the hoses, the heater core stuff.
It's always me. You know, Justin's always texting me. It's like, hey, Jerry, can you help me? Yeah, sure, I'll help you. What are we doing? Pulling the motor out of the dark? Cool, cool. And then, I don't know why I don't ever think about it. Justin always gives me the beep and beep jobs for the motor, which is always the crummy parts, the hardest parts.
Jerry, nothing here is difficult.
Yet the motor is being supported by the headers, and I'm removing the headers.
That's your own fault. Alrighty, so we got all this stuff back here off the back of the engine. So for the sake of a clean engine bay, I tried to hide a lot of stuff. I have the oil pressure tube, the oil pressure tube, I guess.
Oil pressure line.
Yeah, I got the oil pressure line back here running through this hole back here behind the distributor. I have most of the wiring going back there, but for sake of cleanliness, I mounted the coil and the starter relay under the dash, and that kind of made things hard when you're going to take the distributor out. So right up under here is where my coil is mounted. It's kind of lopsided right now because I've already got the wires off of it. But the distributor wires snake through that little hole right over there and go to the top of this coil. And yeah, it just kind of makes things difficult when you're going to take the distributor out, because you have to take those two lines loose or two wires loose, pull it back through the hole. Then when you're ready to go back in, you got to snake it back through the hole. It's already very crowded. So it looks good on the outside, but it's kind of a pain. Kind of a pain to manage. Well, I think that's everything. Jerry spent the entire time it took for me to get everything.
What time did we start doing this?
I don't know. What time?
6:07 now.
It's 6:07. We probably got maybe 2 hours. I think an hour and a half, realistically.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I spent an hour and a half getting those header bolts.
Well, that's just how long it takes on these. But we got everything. Got the chain on it. I think we're ready to pull her out. Maybe we could leave the hood on it. I'm not really concerned with leaving the hood on it, though. I think we need to go ahead and pull that off.
It'd make things easier.
Let's pull it off. Hood off. Now screw it up again, exactly how you just did it. No, stand in front of that. Yep.
Oh, you recorded that, didn't you?
Yep. Well, that'll do, donkey. Man, I wish we had our microphones, though.
Come forward a little bit.
That's right. Maybe we'll change the angle. Well, once it picks up level, it should take care of that. Pull forwards. Yep. Keep going. Okay. Now we should be clear of everything. We are loose.
This thing's gonna look good when it goes back in.
Yeah.
You can color match it to the car.
No. Well, we're out with the engine now. Got it over here sitting on a stand. Like I said, it run good, really didn't have any trouble, so we're gonna just clean it up, give it a good repaint. You know, it's pretty tough looking. So get it cleaned up, looking nice for the power tour, then convert this front part to Magnum serpentine, and we should be ready to stab this back in. So it's not a really huge project for this thing, but figured it'd be a lot easier to do while it was on stand rather than deal with it in the car over here. The engine bay is already painted, cleaned. It just needs to be washed up. I'm gonna pull the headers out, and I'm probably gonna end up pulling the steering box because, like I said, it tends to come loose. So I'm probably gonna pull that, see if I can find a more permanent solution for that. I gotta disconnect the steering link there to get the header off. We'll get that out of there. That way it's not dragging around. Finally can get rid of my homemade transmission cooler lines. Those lines were actually the original lines to the original 69 Dart. They're slant 6 lines, and whenever I was building the car, I couldn't afford to just go buy some V8 transmission cooler lines, so I just hand bent the slant 6 lines and made them work. Looked up a picture on the internet and bent them and made them work, and well, they worked this far, so call that a success. But they can retire now. Well, I think we've got everything taken care of that we were going to get taken care of today. We got the engine out of it, the radiator and the headers out of it. Got everything on the stand. It's ready to be modified for the Magnum front cover. Well, we've got the seats unbolted while we had it on the lift, so we're ready to pull those out and pull the carpet back and start modifying the floor for the transmission as soon as I get the front plate in. So I guess that's all I really have to do today. That's all I'm gonna do today, at least. My allergies are tearing me up pretty good. So I appreciate you for watching. We'll see you next time.